Hi everyone, my name is Ann Bennett and I'm the Executive Director of the Laurel Historical Society in Maryland. And I'm coming to you today for a new video tour of our current exhibit, Unpacking Laurel's Past 150 Years on Display, with something that I am calling the one-take tour of the Laurel Museum. So it's just me, my phone, an empty museum, and we're doing this all in one take. So no matter how many times I stop, stutter, start, or forget any facts, we're just gonna go right through from start to finish in each section of the museum. So we call this the 150th anniversary exhibit. So it starts in 1870 when Laurel was incorporated and goes through our current year in 2020. But we couldn't really tell the story of Laurel's incorporation without starting at the very beginning. So we have this section, Laurel Before 1870, because the city just didn't spring up all of a sudden in 1870. And as part of this, we have some of the oldest artifacts in our collection here in this display case. And even before Laurel was incorporated in 1870, for decades it was a mill town, and indeed a factory town called Laurel Factory, centered around the cotton mill right here in Laurel along the Patuxent River. And even before that, though, it's important for us to acknowledge that the land that we're on right now, the land that the cotton mill was founded and built on in the 1830s and 40s, was lands belonging to the Native Americans for hundreds and thousands of years before European settlement. And so we do have some pieces in our collection. We have an axe head, a pestle, and some projectile points from the woodland period going into the late Archaic period. And they were found along the Patuxent River in the 1930s by members of the Hance family. And these are unprovenience finds, which means they have no record of exactly where they were found, because they were just kind of washed along the Patuxent River, and they washed ashore and they were collected in the 1930s. So they can't tell us a lot about the Native American ways of life in exact detail, because we don't know where they came from, but they can still be valuable education tools. And in this sense, they're giving us this reminder of the tragic history that happened during European settlements, and acknowledging that none of us would be here without the life-giving Patuxent River and the settlement of the Native Americans, whose land this was and whose land we still celebrate. We also have some of the oldest items in our collection, like I said, including some of the oldest ledgers. This is the 1845 accounts ledger for the Laurel Mill, and it was really great because it was actually found right here in this very building. So during the renovations in the 1990s, when they turned this old former millworkers building into the Laurel Museum, they found it within the walls. And it gives some indication that, at least maybe for a portion of its history, this building served as the company store for the Laurel Factory and the cotton mill. It doesn't record necessarily names of the workers, but it lists the transactions that took place at the store, and includes the signature of the mill president and founder, Horace Capron. So that's an important part of our local history here as well. We have other old ledgers. We have a store ledger that's dated from 1857 to 1859. And for the longest time, we all called it the Milstead Ledger, because that's the provenience, that's the information that had come down to us from its donation. But with additional research, we found that there was no Milstead running either a hotel or a store in the 1860, 1870, or 1880 census. So it appears to be connected with a gentleman called William Warfield instead of the Milstead family, which we had thought about. So this is just a great example of how new research can give us new information on old pieces in our collection. And then finally, we have the Oddfellows ledger, which also dates from the early 1850s, 1852 to 1854. So this was the records of the Oddfellows, which was a national fraternal organization. It still is in existence, and before they had the lodge on 400 block of Main Street, they were an organized entity here in the city of Laurel with over 100 members at the time during this very early period of Laurel's history. So if you have any questions, any comments, we invite you to connect with us, comment below, or to send your information and questions to the Laurel Historical Society. All of our contact information is on our website at laurelhistoricalsociety.org. Thank you.